Oggi siamo a bordo di una barca molto particolare, si chiama...
We're on board a very interesting boat today. It's called Ocean Explorer 60, and it was designed by German Frers, the guru of sailing boats. Built in Finland with all the quality and passion that it stands for, it's a fast boat that has taken part in ARC, coming 12th, but it's a 60-footer in a 200 classification, and was up against others that were 30 metres. That's 100-footers.
Come si ottengono queste prestazioni? Beh, come sempre nella nautica e anche in quella a motore, con una grande...
How do you end up performing like that? Well, as always in sailing and in motorboating, there is a great attention given to weight and structure. This catamaran is definitely lighter than commercial boats and the big charter fleets we are used to seeing. It's made to race. Just think, it got up to 27 knots crossing the Atlantic, and it's a cruiser.
Due le derive con un sostentamento foiling che ovviamente non alza la
It
barca.
has two keels and constant foiling that obviously doesn't lift up the boat, just glides a little more through the water. With its retractable rudders you can almost get to the beach by lifting the keels and the rudder. Minimum immersion is 80 centimetres. Three tacks for the bow sails, a little bowsprit for the Jenica, a genoa that reaches the top of the mast, the staysail. Both the genoa and staysail have automatic winders.
Sono tre le versioni dell'Albero, questa è la più semplice.
There are three different masts. This is the most simple, no spreaders. It's built in carbon like the other French Lorimars. In terms of the other two, one has the spreaders, so you can fix a more substantial sail plan to it. The third version even has a rotating wing. It can rotate on the boat's axis to ensure the best angle for the sail in terms of the wind.
La trinchetta è autovirante, inoltre si può regolare attraverso un comando.
The staysail has automatic winding and the tension of the stay can be adjusted by a hydraulic control, which has an effect on managing the whole of the mast. This sail is good when you're tacking. In reality, the genoa needs to be wound up after every turn, so it's a sail used more in reaching, going wide on the wind, or long crossings.
Una delle volontà di German Frers è stata quella di...
One of the things German Frers wanted here was that you could see 360 degrees wherever you are. So whoever is in the dining area, who's sitting at the table, can see everything everywhere.
Sotto queste coperture di plastica ci sono dei pilastrini di titanio che servono a rendere leggera...
There are titanium columns under this plastic cover which make the deckhouse superstructure lighter. Another step towards being lightweight. If they'd been carbon, they would have got to be here.
Un posto di pilotaggio...
The pilot's seat is a little exposed, but you can see everything from here too. That was another of the designer's objectives, that you could see everything from the helm, even through the glass of the deckhouse.
E stiamo navigando a motore.
Right now we're going 10 knots with two Yanmar 80 horsepower engines.
In tempi moderni non serve un grande tavolo da carteggio. Qui abbiamo lo schermo su cui controllare tutte le funzioni della barca, lo yacht control.
Nowadays you don't need a big mapping table, so there's a screen here where you can manage all the boat's functions. The yacht controller, which controls the anchor, operates the inverters and the boat thruster. And on automatic pilot, we can govern the route. If it's raining and there's bad weather, the skipper can stay here and still see everything.
Questa barca è costruita in semiserie, significa che dati gli scavi...
This boat is built in semi-series, which means that given the hull, the owner can choose whatever interior or systems they believe are best. This boat in particular is used by the boatyard as a showboat, so inside, I'd say, it's quite severe. The style is very simple.
Ragazzi, che giornata! Siamo finalmente in Atlantico con questo fantastico catamarano. Le condizioni 10-11 nodi di vento, onda 20.
What a day, guys. We finally got this fantastic catamaran into the Atlantic. The wind is about 10 to 11 knots. Waves are coming cross-beam. We're doing 8 knots with the mainsail completely hoisted. It's a square-top mainsail and the genoa is fully open. One of the drop keels is underwater. You can feel the lifting effect when the wind is over 15 knots. They managed to lift the hull a little, which means the pressure is taken off a little, which makes it easier to sail.
Sapete che la rivoluzione del foiling è arrivata per merito di Team New Zealand, che l'ha utilizzata per prima in Coppa America nel 2013, una edizione che sembrava
Do you know that the foiling craze came about after Team New Zealand used it the last time in the 2013 America's Cup? They seemed destined to win, yet the big New Zealand team lost to Oracle. Foiling has remained part of contemporary sailing though, and there are always more examples of it. Someone tried to make cruising catamarans that lift up on the water like regatta boats, but that was a little too much and the boats are a little too unstable.
Questa non è comunque una barca da regata, è giusto.
This, however, isn't a boat for regattas. In case you've forgotten, it's a fast cruiser, a boat that you can cross the Atlantic in, which means it can face quite challenging conditions.
Il piano velico, pur nella sua esuberanza, è gestibile con facilità da un.
The sail plan, despite its liveliness, is easy to manage with just a couple of people, a captain and a crew member, a bowman. Here we have someone who sails a lot in regattas. You can tell by his dexterity, but don't get scared, there are lots of aids for the less experienced. When you know what to do, it's not really the physical force as much as the right procedure.
E bisogna ammettere che i catamarani conquistano sempre con il loro spazio, c'è tanto posto per non pestarsi i piedi, per dirla all'italiana, e chiunque può trovare il posticino dove vuole.
When it comes to space, you have to admit that catamarans have the knack of design. You never get in the way of others, and you can always find the right place to do what you want, whether that's cooking, reading, sunbathing. And this boat, with its performances, gives the sailors something that is a little lost on the big cruiser catamarans, that feeling of control, the feel of the helm, and the speed above all else.
Abbiamo aperto il Code Zero, costruito.
We've opened up the Code Zero, which is made of Cuban fibre, the material invented by the Americans, which won the America's Cup against Il Moro di Venezia. In fact, the American Cube hoisted it, which was a great advantage in terms of the sail weight, but it costs a lot and it's difficult to maintain.
Stiamo navigando a 9 nodi, la velocità del vento.
We're going 9 knots now, the same speed as the wind. Code Zero is pushing a lot. This boat cost $4 million, quite a lot, but that's the price of such a thing.
Chi la deve comprare? Beh, intanto sicuramente chi c'ha i soldi, che non sono pochi.
And who buys such a thing, you ask? Well, someone with a lot of money, that's for sure. But someone who loves the sea too, and can live with less design, but in the knowledge that the great German Frères has put his name to it. That's the great strength behind this uncomplicated boat.